Hello and welcome to today's session on ways to reflect on teaching practice as a means for professional growth. We generally give serious thought and consideration to everything we do as teachers, and although we may not always be conscious of it, the process we go through is cyclical. This means that we reflect, evaluate, and make changes to the way we teach our students and do things in class. And once we adapt the way we teach, the cycle begins again. In this session, I'd like for us to explore our own classroom practice in order to identify whether what we are doing in class can be changed or improved for better learning outcomes. And so, we will begin with defining what reflective teaching actually is, discuss its importance, and end with some final thoughts related to this practice. What exactly is reflective teaching? It is the practice of thinking about what we do in class, observing whether our students have responded to our teaching the way we expect, and then making necessary changes to our approach in order to benefit all our learners. Thus, it is a way to consider and evaluate a classroom experience to make possible changes in instruction to ensure that students are able to reach an intended outcome. Once we do that, then we're in a position to grow professionally as teachers as we self-evaluate and self-learn. So reflective teaching simply means looking at the whats and whys of teaching, namely what is happening in class and why. There are at least 3 stages of reflection: reflection before action, reflection in action, and reflection after action. One important question we must ask ourselves as teachers is, do I reflect in class? If the answer is no, then we need to stop for a moment and ask ourselves, why not? It is vital that we don't make assumptions about our learners and lessons, that we don't limit our perceptions of what is happening in class to ensure that our students are successful in their academic careers. And so, having said this, when was the last time you actually thought about a lesson you taught? The questions we can ask ourselves as teachers are infinite. And if we are to improve our practice and grow as educators, we should be asking ourselves these questions since identifying areas of improvement are important in the practice of reflective teaching. Yet, why is it important to reflect? If we spend more time reflecting and making observations, we will be able to collect data, record and analyze these observations, and make any necessary changes to our teaching plan based on what we've noticed in class and in our students' classwork. Thus, if a lesson goes well, we should be able to describe it to ourselves why. If the students don't understand a concept or topic, we also need to understand why. And if our learners are misbehaving and not listening to us, once again we need to understand why. But if we don't reflect, how can we? How can we possibly evaluate ourselves as teacher and students' learning if we don't take time to consider and analyze our teaching and learning environment? Our students are ever-changing, as are our environments, and as a result, we too should improve and develop to fit in with the changes around us. We as teachers cannot know everything, and we certainly don't always know what our learners are thinking. We ought to realize that it is because we think carefully that we can essentially find solutions after a period of introspection. Moreover, it is not simply the act of thinking that is crucial or critical, but in effect, it is how we do it, how we effectively collect our observations, analyze, and evaluate them. These reflective thoughts can therefore help us to improve aspects of our teaching in future lessons. If we manage what we do better and reflect each day, it will save us time in the long run as problems are addressed efficiently before they become long-term issues. If you'd like to explore more on any of the topics discussed, click on the links provided at the end of this unit. As always, remember to observe what is happening in your classes and be a reflective practitioner.